5 years from now, you get this team, you get to own this team for 5 years. At the end of the 5 years, the winner is going to be whoever collects the most Super Bowls during that time. So it's your team versus my team. We're going to draft teams here. I'm gonna be a gentleman, and I'm gonna give you the first pick, Buck. You get to draft a team; they're yours for the next 5 years. There's no prize for second place. You hoist the trophy, you get a point. Who's gonna have the most points here at the end? Go for it.
Okay, so in a 5-year period, the goal for me would be who is the team that can race to 2.
Yes,
who are the team that can
win two out of 5 here? Who can do that?
So,
and it might be year 1 and 2. It could be year 4 and 5.
So naturally, I'm gonna go with the defending Super Bowl champions. Because if I can get the deal done with Aaron Donald, I have superstars at least for the next 3 to 5 years. I got Matthew Stafford on the contract. I got Cooper Kupp. I'm sure we'll get him a new contract. He'll be around. So in just thinking about the star power that they currently have, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, I have Cam Akers, I have Aaron Donald, I have Jalen Ramsey, I brought back Bobby Wagner. I'm thinking those first 2 years, that might be the opportunity to cash in. Year 1 this year, being able to do it. And then if they win this year, then we're talking about a potential three-peat. It's hard to do that, but I am willing to bank on the LA Rams being one of the teams that's able to race out to get 2 out of the next 5 years, and that would be enough to keep us in the conversation.
All right. I like it. I like it here. You're going with the Rams, going to the NFC. It's a tough division that they've got to navigate.
Tough division, but the conference is down.
The conference overall is down, and you're going to
Tom Brady's not going to play forever.
They're going to get in the tournament for sure. Even if they didn't win that division for some reason, they're going to get in. So you're going to be in the playoffs. They're in the playoffs every year. I like that pick. All right. I'm going to get crushed for this. I already know it, but I'm doing it anyways because I'm really doing this off of what I would do. I full disclosure, you're wearing your Jags stuff. You're there doing stuff with the Jags. We're always very transparent. I call the games for the Chargers. I get it. Bring all the hate that you want. I would take the Chargers with my first pick.
Ooh.
You give me them for the next 5 years.
Next 5 years.
I've got a quarterback who is already elite, who I don't even think is hit the ceiling yet. Like he's still getting better. They have a top tier offensive line. He's got weapons. He's got multiple running backs. Their offense is going to score points. I'm not worried about that at all. Last year they were on the doorstep. They were one play away from getting into the postseason with a defense that was terrible. And now they have completely rebuilt this entire defense. So I've got a premier offense that is still getting better. And now they've added the pieces to put together on this defense. And I know the division's brutal. I get that. And I know the conference is brutal. But when I look at quarterback and pass rushers, like that's kind of my thing. I've been preaching that forever. Like you want to win championships, you get a premier quarterback, and you get guys that can get to the quarterback. I think they have that, and they've got some youth there. So we're gonna stay in LA. We went LA pick 1, LA pick 2. I'm gonna go Chargers with my first pick. When we talk about the premier positions, quarterback Justin Herbert, pass rusher Bosa, you could throw Mack in there as well. Corner J.C. Jackson, left tackle Rashawn Slater. I'm like, what? Tell me what I'm missing.
You talk about the defensive playmaker that you have to have in Derwin James. I mean, check. It's about. We don't talk about this enough in the NFL. We always talk about it in basketball about stars. DJ, is still about your stars. The teams that win the Super Bowl, it's about star power. Even go the season before, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won because their stars played great in big moments. It is about star power. And when we look at the star power that the LA Chargers have assembled, they have enough firepower to win the whole thing. Reasonable choice. And the quarterback is young.
All right, let's keep it rolling here. You get your second pick. Who you got?
Man, it's about quarterbacks. If it's about quarterbacks, let's go with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
That was my next pick.
Josh Allen is one of those dudes. We talk about the top 5 quarterbacks, and if we can get out of our norm of talking about the old guard, the guys that are always there, the guys that have been there for the last decade, you have to include Josh Allen in the conversation. I am more impressed with Josh Allen now than I was the season before when he played at an MVP level. What he is able to do, not only as a thrower, but as a runner, puts immense pressure on the opposing defense. This is a guy who plays the game almost like a throwback quarterback, like a single wing quarterback, because he can win with his arm or his feet. He can get in and out of trouble by avoiding and evading. He can run in critical situations to get touchdowns and first downs. He has a cast of weapons around him that will only continue to grow. We can talk about Stephon Diggs being one of the best wide receivers in football. Gabriel Davis's emergence in the postseason, I think there was a foreshadowing of what's to come. Finding a role for Isaiah McKenzie, who had the opportunity to step in for Cole Beasley a season ago, that is big. But the addition of James Cook behind him, if they're able to get a credible running game with the running back being able to tote it 15 to 18 times, it's problematic. I love what the Buffalo Bills are assembling, and that is without even talking about what I call the workmanlike defense that they have.
Team
blue-collar defense that gets after it. I love it, man. I think it's going to be hard to hold this team down. The only problem that they have is the AFC is loaded with quarterback play and good teams. It is a tougher road being in the AFC than I would say in the NFC. But, man, give me the Buffalo Bills. I think they can win 2-5.
Yeah, their thing that's working in their favor as well is that, we talk about the conference, but the division, the gap between them and everybody else in that division, I think is still significant. I mean, they're in a better spot than everybody. Now, I know you're going to see Miami and the Jets are improving. New England's always going to be good. They're going to be competitive. But the upside and what they have right now, ready to win right now, I think Buffalo over these next 5 years, that's a heck of a pick. Okay, I'm going to give you a history lesson, then I'm going to make my pick. Okay, let's go back. This is an era of football that we loved. Okay, let's go to the 90s, Buck. You ready for this?
All right.
So in the Super Bowl of the 1990 season, the Giants beat the Bills. The following year, Washington beat the Bills. The following year, Dallas beat the Bills, and Dallas won another one. So you had 3 teams from one division win Super Bowls in a row. So with that being said, over these next 5 years, we're going to see 2 teams from the same division win Super Bowls. And I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs with my next pick. So, I could say, okay, maybe it's redundant. No, I think that there's a very real chance. And you could look, Denver's going to be better. I know I'm a little higher on Denver than you are, but you've got Denver, you've got the Raiders. I think with those 4 teams, I think there's a very real possibility that we see 2 of those teams hoist the trophy over the next 5 years. It's going to be a battle-tested division. The teams that come out of there are going to be hardened. They're going to be ready for the bloodbath that is the AFC playoffs. But you've got Patrick Mahomes, the elite of the elite. They've kind of rebuilt the rest of this roster without Tyreek Hill. He's mentioned it the other day. You're going to spread the ball around all those weapons. I think they've put more resources on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm a big AFC West guy here.
Wow, that is a good pick. That's who I had in mind. Kansas City was one of the teams to talk about because I think you have to kind of have a sense of how to win and how to win in the postseason to be able to do it and do it multiple times. They certainly have that experience. Andy Reid has that experience, so that gives them a chance. I like it. That division will certainly bear fruit when it comes to championship caliber teams. I can see that being a division where they're always kind of feasting on each other, but survival of the fittest, the team that survives and advances, is the team that wins it. So yeah,
let's do one more round. So we'll go round 3 here. Final round of our futures draft here over the next 5 years. Go ahead, Buck. Your final pick.
Oh, this is tough, DJ. This is tough because now we're beyond the obvious choices, right? And so what we're trying to do is hang a little bit on the past while looking ahead to the present and the future.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to say this team, and even though it's been a long drought for the team that I'm about to mention, I
already know who you're picking. Hold on. Don't tell me. I'm going to write it down, and then I'll see if I got inside your head here. Go ahead.
They have to get it right now. So I'm looking at how this team is drafted, and they drafted so well for so long. Here we go. We're going to go with America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Yes.
Come on. I was already in your head, man.
Let's look at how this team has traditionally knocked it out of the park with their first-round picks. At some point, they're going to knock the door down. And I know it's been 20-plus years since this team has been the darling of the National Football League, but you have a young quarterback in Dak Prescott who should be ready to really explode. He's played at a high level when he's been healthy. I think he bounces back to play that. You have young star players all around the roster. You have Michael Parsons, who I would expect to be a defensive player of the year very shortly. You have a bit of a boom or bust player, but he's at a key position, Trayvon Diggs.
Lots of ball production.
Yeah. Lots of ball production. Give up some plays, but say he cuts down those plays. And then you have a wide receiver and a playmaker in CeeDee Lamb, who now steps into the number 1 role. If they can tighten up the offensive line and kind of play the right way, yeah, this is a team that certainly has the talent to be able to get it done. And I'm banking on Will McClay and their team, their scouting team, their front office team being able to continue to do what they've done in the draft. They do that, they're eventually going to knock the door down. So give me the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I actually I'm with you on that. I would have taken the Cowboys with my next pick. I didn't. Once you started kind of describing it, I was like, oh, there they go. They're gone. But they do. They have. I believe in Dak Prescott. I believe in the weapons they have around him. They've got to put it together. The division's not, it's not a murderer's road division there. So you've got an opportunity to get in the postseason every year. They should with their roster. Then they got to find a way to win a championship. So you go with the Cowboys. My last pick, again, there's a lot of options to choose from here. You've got a team in the Green Bay Packers who, even if you say Rodgers, next 2 years and maybe you start to see a fall off, they've got a chance to win at least one here over the next couple of years. Should still be the best team inside that division. Man, the other team I'm looking at the Cincinnati Bengals is a team that I love, just in the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow. He's not going anywhere. I want to buy him, but I think that it's the last pick. I think you got to go with a little bit of a wild card here. Go off the grid. My final pick is going to be the San Francisco 49ers.
Let's go. The Niners? With Trey Lance? That's what we're saying?
Here's what we got. Do I think that Jimmy Garoppolo was a special, dynamic, elite quarterback? No. Do I think that team was in the postseason with him consistently? Team was in the Super Bowl with him? I actually think Trey Lance, I said it when they drafted him, I think he can give them something that they have not had. He can take that group to another level. You look on the defensive side of the ball, I don't think there's a pass rusher in the league I would take over Nick Bosa going forward. I know that there's some dynamic guys. I get Myles Garrett. But, man, I've seen Nick Bosa just wreck games, just completely wreck them. So you've got a young superstar pass rusher. You've got the best scheme in football. I mean, everybody's mimicked Kyle Shanahan, but there's still only one Kyle Shanahan. So I've got that going. You've got other dynamic players on that offense that you can mix in. Deebo Samuel, obviously, to get that thing worked out going forward. They're going to score points, and they're going to rush the passer. So that's kind of what I'm sticking with. Now, I'm buying on Trey Lance blind a little bit here. I know we haven't seen it, but I know worst case scenario, Buck, they are going to bludgeon people on the ground with him. So that's why I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Look, I can't blame you for being in a conversation. I think the unknown is all about the quarterback. This is a team, from looking at their offense, the way they run the football, they're always going to be able to control the game and control the tempo of the game. The way Kyle Shanahan is able to dictate the terms and then make it very easy for the quarterback, you would like to think that Trey Lance will be able to settle in and have success, because worst case, the boot passing game should create easy half-field reads, easy throws, layups for the quarterback. You can do that. That's going to give you an opportunity. But defensively, they're built the right way because they've always poured their resources into building up the front line. And as long as they have a dominant front four, it's going to give them an opportunity. Nick Bosa is one of the best pass rushers in the game. He can take over the game at any time. Eric Armstead is young and dynamic and disruptive. That gives them a chance. They're going to be in the conversation. And to be on this list, you need to have a team that you can look at and say, will this team always be in the discussion? You can say that the 49ers is going to be in the conversation. But like you mentioned about the AFC West, the NFC West could have a couple of teams that make multiple runs at the Super Bowl just because they're talented, despite the division being loaded.
Yeah, and I should say, look, I mentioned them being in the playoffs every year. I know they have missed years. Jimmy G's had injuries. When Jimmy G's been healthy, they've been a playoff team. And I think now with Trey Lance, it gives them something different. It's going to maybe take a little while to find their sea legs here early in the season, but I'm buying them over the next 5 years to go get one, go chase a trophy down. So you go Rams, Bills, Cowboys. I've got Chargers, Chiefs, Niners. So maybe we kind of set this up in the video. You kind of give us a little vote here. Which one do you like? A little poll here. Which one of these teams would you buy for the next 5 years? I think it was a fun little exercise there, Buck.